Alright guys, so in this video I just want to go over a couple small things that I missed that I feel are important for you guys to know. So this is kind of just an aside. And I just have a file called index.html, and I'm going to just generate my boilerplate here. And let's just say test file. And we'll put in our style tags. And then in the body I'm just going to have an h1, and I'm just going to say hello world. And a paragraph underneath with, let's say, 15 words. And we'll go ahead and open this. And the first thing I want to talk about is visibility. Okay, so we looked at the display property where we could display block, display inline block. Later on we're going to look at display flex, display grid. There's also something called display none, which will just remove the element from the browser completely. So I'm going to take the H1 and I'm going to set display to none and save. And notice it completely goes away. So this can be very useful, especially when it comes to building responsive websites and responsive applications, because sometimes you might want something not to show on mobile screens. So this comes in handy. Now there's also a property called visibility. Okay, so we can set visibility to hidden, and I'm going to save that. Notice it goes away, but the big difference here is that it still takes up the space. Okay, display none will just completely remove it from what's called the document object model. Visibility just basically makes it disappear or makes it invisible. It's still there in terms of the space. Okay, so that's the big difference between these two. You're going to find yourself using this much more than this, but it's still important to know that that's available. Alright, so the next thing I want to look at is the order of precedence and also the important flag. So basically, if I take this H1 here and I give it a color of blue, if I save that, obviously it's going to turn blue, but if I give this a class of, let's just say hello, and up here I say dot hello and give that a color of red and save, it turns red. So normally the further down the style is, that's what's going to take precedence. However, targeting a class is going to override targeting the actual element. And if I take this class of hello and I move it above the H1, you might think that, well, now it's going to be, let me just fix this. You might think now it's going to be blue because this is further down. However, if I save, it's still red. And the reason for that is having a specific class and targeting that, it's going to override just the H1 itself. All right, now I just want to put this back how I had it, like that. And if you come to a situation where and this might happen if you're dealing with other style sheets, maybe you're using some kind of CSS framework and you're bringing in external style sheets as well, and you want your style to override another style, you can use the important flag. So right here where we said color blue, I'm just going to add on to the end of this, I'm going to add an exclamation and then the word important. Okay, now if I save this, you can see now it's blue because this important flag is going to say it doesn't matter if there's a class of hello or anything else, nothing else matters, this should take precedence. Okay, and the only way that this is going to work is if I also put important on this, which is stupid and defeats the purpose, but just to show you that it works, we'll go ahead and save that, and that will be red. Alright, but I'm going to get rid of that. I do want to keep that though, just so you guys have it for reference. Alright, and then the last thing I want to mention for now, and if I remember anything else that I forgot, I'll come back to this video and edit it, but is negative margin values. We went over margin, we went over padding, but we didn't go over negative margin values, which you really should try to avoid if you can, but it is possible. So of course we can take this H1, actually let's work in the class down here, we'll say margin dash top, and we say 30 pixels and save, and it gets pushed down 30 pixels. But at the same time, we can also do negative 30 pixels, and that will just bring it upwards. Okay, and you can do the same thing, like let's do margin, let's do left, negative 30 pixels, and what it should do is pull it this way. Save, and there it goes that way. Alright, so you can have negative values with margins. However, you can't do it with padding. If I do it with padding and save, that's not going to work. Okay, because remember, padding is inside the border. Alright, so those are the main things that I wanted to mention. So we'll move on and let's start our hotel website project.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer.